Hi, I'm going to walk you through how to log in to your Edmentum skills classes so that you can take your assessments and get started on your prescription lessons. To access your Edmentum skills classes, first start off by going to the CalPAC website and clicking on the student and parent login button from the top right corner of the screen. From there, you're going to scroll down from the choices under the student and parent login section on the left-hand side to where it says Edmentum. And you're going to enter in the information that was sent to you. So the account login, CPOCA, that's the same for everybody, and you must enter that in. You're going to enter in your username, which is your first name, period, last name, and your password, which is the city you live in. And hit login once you have all of that information. That's going to bring you to the student landing page. We sometimes call this the dashboard page or the home page. And this is where you are going to access your assessments and your assignments. So you'll see under this active assignment section, you have all of your assessments and lessons assigned to you currently. You can tell if something's new by seeing this orange icon over here. And the first thing you need to do is do the assessments. Before you can do anything else in your classes, you need to take the assessments. So this is the first time logging in for Jane's student. So her first task is to complete this assessment, S17, 8th grade language arts skills. And to do that, just hit the blue begin button and that will get the assessment started. You can see I have a due date down here. This is due today. And my progress bar over here, which will fill in as a solid circle once the assessment's completed. So again, when I'm ready to do the assessment, hit begin, and it will launch the assessment for you. You can answer the questions, take your time on it, try your best. You cannot go back to a question once you've answered it. So once you hit next down here, you cannot go back. So please try your best. Some questions will be more challenging than others. But again, this is just assessing what you know and don't know. So don't worry about getting a perfect score. Just show us what you know. If you need to pause the assessment at any time, you can do save and exit up here. And you also have access to the reader's tools over here. If you need to highlight something or have something read to you, you can use click to speak or the highlighter tools. When you reach the end of your assessment, you will see a screen that looks like this, saying that you have completed the assessment. Go ahead and click OK. And that's going to bring you right back to your landing page. And you'll see that instead of it saying an assessment up here now, it now says prescription for this class. And that's where you're going to get started on your lessons. So go ahead and click on select new activity. And that will bring you to the first prescription you are assigned in this class. You have a progress bar up here that will show you how much of the class you've completed, and you will see a due date here. Teachers have to put in your due dates for you, so you will see a due date here. It just might take a day or two for it to show up, but you can still get started in your classes while you wait. You don't have to wait for a due date to show up there. Some other icons you have while you're on this page is the progress report if you want to see how you're doing. You have access to your notes, and to go back to the landing page, you can click the purple house at the top. This will help you switch to a different class. So you might have math and language arts to work on, or math, language arts, and reading to work on. You can jump to your other classes by going here. You can also use the back to home button right here. Okay, so lessons start at the beginning of where you scored based on your assessment results. So you start with the very first lesson and you work down to the other lessons. Start with the very first lesson assigned to you, which is going to be Language Arts Level B. So that's your first level you're working on. Your first module is Language Standards. Go ahead and open that up. And you'll see that you have 7 lessons in this module to complete. You have a pretest, types of nouns, more kinds of nouns, and so on. So the very first thing you're going to do is the pretest. Try your best on the pretest. This is like your second attempt to show us what you know. And based on how you do on the pretest, you may have more lessons assigned to you, or you might be excused or exempted from lessons. So take your time on the pretest, try your best. Doing a pretest counts as fulfilling the 1 lesson a day requirement for your class. So doing the pretest would count for your attendance for the day. And you can get started with that pretest by clicking this blue play button here. And you'll see that the pretest is very similar to the assessment that you already completed. You have the same tools. You have your reader tools up here and questions to answer. And again, once you click that next button, you cannot go back to an answer. So make sure you are final on your answer choice here, because once you click next, you cannot go back. You do have the option though to save and exit and come back to the test. Now that you've finished the pretest, you can get started on your other lessons. You'll see that the circle is filling up down here for that very first module that you're working on for language standards. You'll see that you did the pretest, so you have 1 out of 7 complete. Go ahead and click back on language standards here. You'll see that your pretest is completed with that green check mark, and it's now locked. You can't go back and review it. You can only do the pretest once. You're now ready to move on to the next part of your lesson. And again, move in order, do everything in order. So I'm going to first start with my level. Remember, your teacher will tell you which levels to work on. So start with your level, do your first module. So whichever one shows up on the left side, think of it like reading a book. You start left and read to the right. So language standards, pretest, and do the lessons after that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on types of nouns, and you'll see that I have several items here to work on. The first thing is the tutorial, and you'll know that's the first thing you need to do because it will have this blue play button here for you. You need to do the tutorial first. That's where you're going to take your notes. That's where you're going to learn the material. So watch the tutorial, then do the application or practice, and the last thing to do is the mastery test. So you must do the tutorial and application before doing the mastery test. You can come back to these items as many times as you need to help you prepare for the mastery test. But again, do it in order and look for this blue play button to help you get started on the first activity in the lesson. So we call these the tutorial, application or practice, or mastery test, your lesson activities. And our lesson name right here is types of nouns, and that's part of the language standards module, part of the language arts level B section of the class. So go through, click through each part. As you complete them, you'll be brought back to this page to work on the next set of lessons. Again, you can view your progress report if you need to. If you need to return to the home screen to access your other classes, you can. And when you're done for the day, you can sign out. Remember, you are required to do 1 lesson per day. That typically means doing a tutorial, application or practice, and mastery test. But some lessons might just have tutorials in them. Some lessons might just be a tutorial and mastery test. So keep that in mind. It's okay if it doesn't look exactly like this one. The main thing is that you're doing at least 1 lesson per day for your attendance. And also remember that a pretest counts as a lesson too. So that's how you log in and get started with your assessments and prescription lessons. If you have any questions, let your teacher know.